Hello, namaste everyone. I hope you guys are doing great. Welcome back to my channel. So, I have made videos on the ascendants, on the planets, what does the transits mean, what does the Mahadasha means. So now I thought, why don't we start from the scratch? Why don't we talk about houses and then go from each planet going through the houses, so you do have a basic information before going within nakshatras and within anything else. So, as per my life experience with astrology, I've understood that sometimes answers are not in the complexities, but rather it's in the easiest visible things on the front. So I just want to talk about the very basic side of Vedic astrology, very basic information that I can give you. So we shall start from the first house today. Okay, so before we start, if you guys are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get regular updates. Also, if you would like to have your personal readings from me, you can check out the link in the description box, www.anmollastrology.com. Under the readings and unique reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. Also, if you would like to enroll for online course, you can check out the section of courses and you can enroll for your online course there. Okay, so let's get started. So first house is the house of your identity. Whenever a person is born, whenever the native is born, whichever sign is basically rising on the east becomes the ascendant, becomes the first house, the very first house and the pehla bhav as per Sanskrit. So this becomes the goal of our life. Why our soul is here. Why do we have taken another birth in this life? So no other sign, no other house is going to tell you why you have come here rather than this house. Sixth house is the house of Prarabdha karma, but the first house and the very first sign, which is rising in your ascendant, which the sign which is in your first house, that is about your existence. That first of all will tell you your soul purpose, why your soul is here, and what is that you are going to surround yourself with. Like, for example, if you are an Aries ascendant, that means you are here to become an independent soul, to find your individuality, to work with your brain, mind, and your body, your energy. It's about you finding out your identity through your work, through your karma. Right? So first house, it is one of the Kendra house. It is one of the Trikona house. That's why this is the house that creates a Raj Yoga. It is always said, as per the Purusarthas, that one Kendra, the Lord of one Kendra, if sits in a Trikona, or whenever there's a combination of a Kendra Lord and a Trikona Lord, that makes a Raj Yoga. That's why the first house, which in itself is one Kendra house and one Trikon house, that means the stability of your life lies in the first house. The luck of your life lies in the first house. The first house, how strong it is going to define how easy things are going to be for your soul's journey. First house is your appearance. So whenever you have to judge the appearance of your client based on their on their natal chart, you see the first house. First house, as per the Kalpurush Kundali, is ruled by the sign of Aries. So naturally, first house has the element of fire. First house has the energy of Mars, the planet Mars, and the zodiac sign of Aries and the fire element. Regardless of whatsoever sign is coming into the first house, whatsoever ascendant you are born with, you are going to experience the fiery nature of the first house, and you're going to experience the energy of Mars within your first house. And first house is the house which will tell you that which planet basically holds your mindset. So whatsoever planet comes into your first house, that is going to define what your mindset is about. What are you thinking all the time? If Mercury comes into the first house, a person always thinks and is surrounded by communications, everything. They are very observant, they are intelligent, they have all the qualities of a Mercurian person. If Jupiter is in the first house, you always are thinking about wisdom. And if with each and every step of your life, you get wisdom. You're thinking about expansion, you're thinking about optimism, about how can you grow and how can you show off. How can you collect the wisdom and help people with your wisdom? If Venus is in the first house, you will constantly have thoughts of creative thoughts. You are going to be creative in nature, and you are also going to be very, very inclined towards arts, music, and balancing of relationships. Relationships become a very important thing to you. So similarly, because of the planets, whatsoever planets are going to come in the first house, they are going to tell what your mindset is, as in not what is your belief system, but what goes around in your mind, what goes around in, with your personality. And, there's a phrase that what we think, we start becoming that. That is what the first house has an impact on us. Also, first house would tell you about your appearance. So if you have moon in the first house, you will have a very soothing appearance. People are going to get attracted to your nurturing nature, or your appearance which would give a vibration of nourishment. That's why first house is not just about your appearance, but how people are going to perceive you, how you are going to outstand yourself, how you're going to outshine yourself. If you have moon in the ascendant, you will have round face, round features, and a bit of plumpiness in your face. First house is also your face. It is the house responsible for your health. Apart from this, first house is your vitality, immunity, health, your temperament. Since this is the house naturally ruled by the sign of Aries, it represents how your temper works. This is that the fire of Aries, which is already present in the first house, regardless of what your ascendant is. If, for example, your ascendant is something else, your ascendant is Virgo, your ascendant is Leo, but still you will have the presence of fire of Aries on the background. So that is the reason, since it is the first house, it's your brain, it's your reactions. That's why the planet in the first house is going to address your temperament. If you have Saturn in the first house, your life is actually going to teach you how to be patient and calm with your reactions. You will have very balanced and also very slow, delayed reactions. With Venus in the first house, you will always have a very creative mindset towards your reactions, but you will get offended quite easily. Mercury, you're going to be upfront, you're going to be always impulsive in, just giving answers. With Mars, very impulsive. With Sun, very impulsive. with one's personality, one's temperament. With Jupiter, again, very impulsive, because this is also one of the fire elements, one of the fire planets. But whenever you go on saying something, you go on a reaction, you do a reaction, Jupiter will give you that wisdom. Sun will take everything on the ego, on the pride. Mars will take everything on its competitiveness. Mercury will take everything on its revengeful and envious nature. Mercury actually gets very affected by these feelings very soon. So all these things are what you can identify about yourself with the first house. Not just that, first house, since it naturally is ruled by Aries, it is also a sign of movement, travel. So are you going to live in your own country, or you are going to live overseas? Are you going to live within, in what space you are going to live in? How you are going to live your life? That is the first house. First house is also responsible for your confidence and like how you go towards success. How confident are you? A strong first house will give immense confidence to a person. A weak first house will give self-esteem issues to a person. Sun gets exalted in the first house in the sign of Aries. Saturn gets debilitated in the sign of Aries and also will give its debilitation effects in the first house. Jupiter and Mercury have their directional strength in the first house, regardless of the sign. Because Jupiter and Mercury feel confident in the first house because they are able to express themselves. Saturn does not like leadership roles. It does not like to be the one to lead. And that's why, hence, first house is about your leadership skills. Are you a leader? Are you a follower? That's what the first house is going to answer for you. If you have significant planets like Sun, Jupiter in the first house, even Mercury in the first house, you're the one who wants to lead. Your first lord in the first house, you are the one who would love to, you have absolute love for leading. You lead your own life. You're not dependent with your life on anyone else. So confidence is also something that basically tells us what kind of perception do you have about yourself. So that is the reason first house is also about your own perception. If you have a good perception of yourself, that means you have a strong first house. That's why you are going to be confident. But with a weak first house, you might not have your own good perception. That's why a person feels low on their self-esteem. Right? So, of course, any planet, any zodiac sign, the aspects, all of those things can basically change the dynamics. But I am trying to tell you that you have to look into the first house so as to know about different things of your life. The first house can tell you about your mother's career, because that is 10th from the 4th house. First house can tell you the losses of your family. That's why if you're born with a very promising planet in the first house, that can enhance or deteriorate the luck of finances of your family, because it is 12th from the 2nd house. It is 11th from the 3rd house. That's why it can it can help you to recognize the gains from the career of your younger sibling, how the career of your younger sibling is going to shape and give them the benefit. how much hard work your elder sibling has to do ever since your birth. That is what your first house will tell you, because first house is third from the 11th house. First house is you yourself, and it will also tell how the married life of your spouse would be. That's why first and seventh, both the houses are equally important for an individual's marriage. Okay? So if you ever feel underconfident, you ever feel that you are facing any sort of problems in your life, either by luck or by stability of your life, just strengthen your first house. Preach the Lord of your first house, right? If suppose you have Pisces or Sagittarius as your ascendant lord, you need to chant the mantra of Brihaspati so as to basically strengthen it. And you could even wear the gemstones to strengthen it. But if your Jupiter is already strong, I would not suggest you to wear a Pukharaj in that case. So that's why just wearing a gemstone is not at all dependent on just one placement, I would say. But yes, you can go, and the more you strengthen your ascendant, the more you build up your confidence, the more good life you may lead. So that is the importance of the first house. It's everything. It's the basis of Vedic astrology. Okay, even the first house basically is ninth from your fifth house, right? So that also tells the bhagya of your firstborn child. So first house is not just you, but it's everything connected to you. It also is going to tell a lot of things for the people who are connected with you. Okay, so guys, this was what I had to say about the first house. We will soon meet with the second video where we would discuss about the second house. Till then, bye-bye, take care.